Ruby going to the EXP lane. Thank goodness for that, because I personally despise roam Rubies because, like, you get a Franco, it does the job a lot better. But looking at where Zorizo is putting this Ruby, going to EXP lane, good. Make sure that she gets the hard scores, able to sustain, and especially when facing up against AP Bren, the common style that Bigetron Alpha usually play is this AoE damage and AoE lockdowns. This has been the case since game number 1.
We've seen mid Ruby yesterday. I believe it was by Bren X Flash, and that unfortunately didn't work out for them. And this time Super Vin's gonna try and invade. Organ will spot him out. Please do not get the buff. Woo! That was very close. Super Vin just committing to it, and he's gonna give the first blood away to Kyle TZ.
Yeah, Super Vin overextended just a little bit. Super Ken secures his own orange buff, so everything is still A-okay. But Bigetron Alpha breaking that flicker right off the bat. Looking at the seconds, yeah, Super Vin doesn't really have the flicker going into the first turtle fight, so that might be huge. No flicker wild charge anymore for the side of Bigetron Alpha.
And Kyle TZ even stole the camp, so he's gonna hit 4 first. Super Ken starved out of his own jungle. Flat TZ also finding another one of the camps on that towards the bottom end. They do slow down the Joy a little bit, which is already a hero that isn't the fastest when it comes to clearing jungle, so a slightly good start for AP Bren.
Yeah, this time around it's a lot different, right? And Super Barco back onto something that he's more comfortable with, I believe, on the carry as well. But look at Super Vin, he's getting chunked down low.
And he's gonna be taken down. Super Vin drop once more. That's 2-0 for Kyle TZ. As a Fanny, he's gonna be very, very happy with the result.
Definitely, right? Like, you're snowballing, it's the same idea as your Hayabusa in game number 2. But going to the later parts of the game, we've seen how Fanny can fall. The only thing that Fanny can also comfortably do in the later parts of the game is to basically cut away, play crossmat, right? Because of the rotation's a lot faster. But apart from that, the turtle is up, and I don't think Bigetron Alpha does have the priority over that. Super Bin slowly ticking towards level 4, doesn't have the flicker. Super Ken on the other side of the map, Awkward will be there to spot him out.
Getting completely harassed in the jungle, might need some help from Key just to secure the purple buff. On the other end, Kyle TZ will get his. Super Vin once more in the rough spot. Doesn't have the ultimate anymore, so has to be very, very careful as Q comes in as well. Got TZ pop concentration, trying to run down the members of Bigetron Alpha. 1 versus 3, not a problem. Organ by his side. Kaja not 4 yet, so no Divine Judgment.
No Divine Judgment, it was already used as well. If you notice how AP Bren and Bigetron Alpha is just reading each other like a book. Both of these roamers just on the opposite side of the map, just try to slow down Kyle TZ. Facing no issues right there, still at least secure his own purple buff. But Super Ken, like I said, this Super Ken's drop is the same as game number 2, right? Just to run down when Few goes into Kyle altar and then deny that, and then he can retreat and he can run away. His job is done.
Saki will clear the entire wave. It's just a classic carry game. If you can bully in lane, it's gonna take a lot of time to skill up. Super Ken showing up from Turtle as well. Remember the Bigetron Alpha, you can simply pull back. You have the hard guard as a response, the Rizzo in the fight, but the retreat fight goes over to Kyle TZ as he goes on a killing spree. This time Super Ken ends up going down.
Yeah, Flap TC still chasing on against Sorizo though. Key is still around there at the same time, but this is where AP Brown really wants to be in the early game, right? Like, Kyle TC kept taking 3 kills, taking turtles for his name at the same time, taking a look at the emblems. I think the most interesting one, in my opinion, is definitely a focusing mark for Super Vin. Knocks everybody up in the air, and then all of a sudden, hey, you know, you also do bonus damage towards everybody. But I think the question is, oh, Sorizo low.
Actually put under the tower and killed off about a turret shot. I mean, that structure deals a truckload of damage. So a bit of an unlucky one for Flap TZ. Didn't have to sprint either way. Consecration was also down. Actually went for the Impure Rage instead of the Brave Smite.
I think it doesn't really matter for the side of Flap TZ. If you notice, Flap TZ really wants to sustain as much as possible in lane. And this bonus movement speed allows him to stick onto this target as much as possible to land on the Ionic Edge over and over again. The damage actually stacks out of control, and it does a lot of damage. If there's this one time I was casting and I saw Uranus does 48% of team damage, yeah, that's the whole idea of Flap TZ, right? But however, Flap TZ also go for the common emblem, right? Non-stop mana is exactly what a Uranus needs. Just stay in lane. Just stay in lane.
Gameplay is going to slow down just a little bit for AP Bren, at least. And I think, you know, these kind of game states, it's minor good news for Bigetron Alpha. You don't have Kyle TZ running around the map. You are not allowing him to further that snowball. The conversion is going to get mitigated for AP Bren. So we will be in the stalemate for a little bit. It's 1.5k goal advantage for AP Bren.
Yeah, not a big one, right? We saw how Bigetron Alpha can also swing back the economy lead because of that one. But Sakin on this Beatrix against Super Marco. This time around, Super Marco is able to stabilize. It's not as bad as you know, the Harry game in game number 2. So that's A-okay. AP Brand, I think, because gets that additional goal lead, it's because of the one turtle they took, and also Kaltizi on 3-0-0. It's a perfect game for Kaltizi for now. So Ken is actually going hunting.
And Kaltizi, can you win the Retri War?
Oh,
Can
no.
actually wins that one. The retribution used way too early by Kaltizi, so Super Ken stealing it without using much effort. And when we look at the emblems also, Sakin, he's actually running the lethal ignition, right? So you watch out, he's gonna 3-shot you with that bonus damage from the Nibiru, something that you gotta respect a bit more. So Rizzo getting ran down on the top lane, but Flapteezy, no problem, not able to finish things off. And the Super Ken, meanwhile, they're trying to run down Awkward. Awkward ends up falling. Kaltizi taking a big snipe from Sakin. Ends up having to retreat. And Bigetron Alpha slowly coming online bit by bit. Just by taking these pickoffs and opening up the bottom lane for Sakin. And that means Sakin is going to have a really good time taking down this bot tier 1.
Yeah, man. Like, right now, the turtle is completely forgotten by both these two teams because both these two teams are looking to play the purple buff as if it's a turtle itself. Now, Kaltizi getting put off from the purple buff is huge. So, for a couple more minutes, AP Brand wasn't able to output enough of pressure against Bigetron Alpha. That's Bigetron Alpha's way to slow down Kaltizi. We saw that happen in game number 1 of EVOS Legends, and now Bigetron Alpha, all of a sudden, because of that thing, that fact, they have turtle priority.
I'm offended to pull in on it too. Flapteezy trying to buy as much time as possible. Unfortunately, Kaltizi ends up getting stunned, so can't contest the turtle. They get the Divine Death from Autozorizo, who just walks out of there without taking much damage at all, even though Super Marco is around. And Bigetron Alpha just disengages and even takes a tier 1 mid on the way out. Super Ken not done just yet. Electrifying Beak is used, gets the purple buff for himself once more. Kaltizi slowly getting punished in his own jungle as Flapteezy forced to disengage. All 5 members of Bigetron Alpha pushing AP Brand out of their own jungle.
Yeah, Bigetron Alpha currently winning the economy lane. Just take a look. Sakin is already leading in terms of the gold, just like 300 gold behind. That's one component behind, right? So which means Sakin is going to hit the critical mass in terms of the damage first as compared to Super Marco. But same problem could be said over the side of Bigetron Alpha, right? They take another purple buff away from Kaltizi once again. And then immediately you see how Bigetron Alpha is rotating super efficient, right? Take the turtle up top, go down, invade purple, and then go back to secure their own purple buff to deny Kaltizi from that purple buff away. Kaltizi right here, this is a very big speed bump that he has to speed through. If you take a look at the items, yeah, exactly right? BOD going in, but it's more expensive to build a Beatrix X compared to a carry, so carry is still not too far behind. However, another key thing to also look out for, Super Vin going for more expensive items instead of attack.
And Phil forced to pop the Call Ultra as was pulled in by Dorito early on. The Call Ultra will expire. And Super Ken just runs him down with the Electrifying Beast. Meanwhile, they're going to get the pull onto Super Vin, which is a Grok that doesn't really care too much.
Yeah, like this time around, Awkward, even though you sport the Kaja against Joy, this is literally logic, right, for the side of everybody. But then again, Awkward wasn't able to output enough thing. But oh, Super Vin, well charged, the air.
Yeah, not able to get a connection, but doesn't really matter. Sakin just destroys the health bar of Phil. At Bigetron Alpha coming online. Flapteezy don't really want to be there. Sakin almost 2-shots him. And AP Brad, they just could not fight this. They need to buy time for Super Marco to come online.
Yeah, Kaltizi once again, and the purple buff already gone. I feel like teams right here need to know how to deal with an assassin that relies on purple buff. And then again, you need to deal with how Bigetron Alpha is dealing with AP Brand, because this is so annoying, right? Kaltizi is literally out of the game. The only thing he can do is only split pushing, and this is not a very good sign for AP Brand. Now to the Lord is taken down by the side of Bigetron Alpha. It's very comfortable because AP Brand has no wings. AP Brand has no map pressure at all. Damage leaderboard, most of them super can, but that damage is kind of deceiving. The damage is mostly going into against few with the Call Alta, right? So yeah, main goal super can just deny the Call Alta once again. Bigetron Alpha in a more stable position right now as compared to game number 1 and game number 2.
Yeah, it's a very frustrating game for AP Brand. Very frustrating game for Kautizi, especially when you're up 3-0. You have a pretty uh, substantial lead, and then suddenly it all gets shut down because you lose one purple buff fight. And that just escalates into this Lord barreling down the middle lane, your side lanes getting pressured, and Bigetron Alpha knocking on your front doors again. You look at the level differential, right? Bigetron Alpha slightly ahead in terms of experience. It's going to be Zorizo with the pullback onto Flapteezy. The Cold Altar will be there to save him, and they even respond with the Divine Touch onto Super Bren, who loses his first life thanks to Immortality. Kautizi to the back, ends up getting pushed back by Super Ken as he gets electrocuted alive. Bigetron Alpha looking to fry AP Brand in their own base. Flapteezy dropping low. Zorizo gonna get the finish. Gets destroyed instead by Super Marco as Kautizi comes back in for round number 2. Bigetron Alpha forced back and the mid inhibitor stands.
Yeah, good defense coming out from AP Brand. Once again, Bigetron Alpha taking it slow just a little bit. They want to take even more than they could expect right there, right? They'll pay the price by losing Zorizo right there. But if you notice how Super Ken, right? Two-shotting Kautizi because of the electrocution. 2 proc from that ultimate is enough to push Kautizi away. And don't forget, Kautizi doesn't really have enough damage to assassinate because Key is just sticking onto Super Ken. And once again, finally, Kautizi this time around secures his own buff. So that's a good sign of relief for the side of AP Brand, but is it a little bit too late?
It could be, right? AP Brand playing catch-out game. I know that 2.5k go behind and it's not that significant yet, but you look at the XP differential. When that Lord spawns in another 50 seconds, Kautizi will never win the retry fight because he's just behind Super Ken in terms of level.
Yeah, Hunter Strike this time around being built at the very least, so a bit more burst damage, but Super Ken goes in full Blood Wings already. This is like licking item for joy, whereas Kautizi just running through scraps, just taking out breadcrumbs from the streets of Bigetron Alpha after, you know, Bigetron Alpha has been looting all across the board for the side of AP Brand. And now with the Lord coming up in the next 20 seconds, AP Brand, they're not in a good position, right? You talk about the level difference between these two teams. I'm also going to talk about the fact that AP Brand is basically fighting on their side of the map. This is exactly where AP Brand doesn't want to be, especially when you have a Fanny, right? That's supposed to output pressure in the early game.
Yeah, absolutely. Flapteezy, he's trying to open up a lot of this space, but you can see that even his durability has its limits when Sakin is on top of him on his spear traits. I mean, Super Marco, there's not much opportunities for him to fight. There's so many things you need to worry about, right? You gotta worry about the Grog running in your face, you gotta worry about Zorizo pulling you, you have to worry about Super Ken dancing on top of your body, and also Sakin just snipes you from 10 miles away. Bigetron Alpha, they're gonna start on this Lord right now. Going with the conceal, Zorizo is gonna instantly see it. Get the delay as now. Where is Kautizi? He's still taking the purple buff. This Lord is going to be gone. I do not think that AP Brand can win this, but they're going to try anyways. Committed to the fight. Kautizi straight to the back. Trying to look for the kill. Can't find the assassination as Zorizo runs away and Flapteezy ends up getting taken out.
Yeah, Sakin landing down Nibiru's Passion right there. I think it's just luck. Kautizi ate couple of shots right there. Kautizi immediately disengaged, right? He tries to go for the cleanup right there. Zorizo, Brave Smite's coming in just in the nick of time. Zorizo was basically being the pseudo tech. Let's take a look at the replay, right? Like, the knockout was there. Awkward was able to catch Zorizo, but Zorizo doesn't really care. He's more than happy to absorb that and notice it because Bigetron Alpha knows that there's no Divine Judgment. Kautizi coming for the flank. Unfortunately, Sakin pushing it away cleanly. Cal also, even though was already proc, Bigetron IP Brand knows they do not have the damage to continue the fight. They decide to back off. So a very nice fight coming out from the side of Bigetron Alpha. They still secure the Lord. AP Brand tried to punish Bigetron Alpha, but will not be able to find anything there.
Here comes the Lord. That's mid inhibitor down and ready. Kautizi can't hold a candle to Super Ken. The Joy is just outputting too much damage. That's without the help of Angela. So Kautizi is going to try to cut the wave as much as possible. They will scout out the members of Bigetron Alpha in the bottom side jungle. I guess the silver lining is that they still keep both the side lane inhibitors alive, but for how long?
It's gonna be tough. Sakin does have the Malefic Roar, so more damage against the turrets, right? Maybe this time around, AP Brand looking for a concealed play right here, looking for anybody, but look at that. Sakin is scarce. AP Brand couldn't reach Sakin at all. Sakin is the main damage dealer from the side of Bigetron Alpha. If you take a look at the items, yeah, Wind of Nature, just in case Super Marco knows he's not gonna do any damage at Beatrix at all. And not only just that, right? If you take a look, Angela Key already going in. NOD for good measure. Ice Queen 1. Going into Holy Crystal, she's gonna heal even more, do a bit more, tad bit more damage. Not only just that, the utility that Angela brought onto the table is just so annoying and painful for AP Brand to deal with.
Especially for Flapteasy, right? You can't heal as much with the consecration anymore. The healing reduction
The
from
Oracle too.
yeah, and the Oracle is just so a lot of things are getting mitigated, right? Bigetron Alpha, they mitigate the healing from AP Bren, but they increase, they amplify the healing for themselves. And look at Kautisi, he's going to be playing on that bot side, just constantly trying to see if he can find a pickup. If not, he's going to try and cut the wave, put the pressure onto Bigetron Alpha side lane. Unfortunately, the Lord is spawning on the top side.
Yeah, Bigetron Alpha, I think the only way they need to try to solve this problem, right? Kautizi is saying, okay, you know what? I know I cannot actually team fight you like this 5v5. The only thing I can do, send Kautizi start doing hit and runs, right? Top side, bot side, bot side, until eventually Bigetron Alpha start to lose a lot of structures, and that's how AP Bren is gonna have to try to stay in the game. And if you notice from the side of Bigetron Alpha, there's not anybody that can comfortably rotate and match up the tempo that Kautizi is outputting. AP Bren needs to fight 4v1, and then after that, Bigetron Alpha noticing that, if you notice, they're spreading themselves apart, right? Because they know Kautizi can be anywhere. They need a quick task force to deal with this raiding Fanny.
And also, you want to be aware of the big potential that Awkward poses. You can see Flapteasy, he's going to be putting his body in front once more to Bigetron Alpha. I think you just make the call to rush on the Lord, right? The Fanny is not going to be there in time. You have more than enough damage. Where is AP Bren in the situation? They gotta be there right now. You see the conceal play from behind. The Lord dropping low! And Kautisi steals it somehow. They even get to Sakin. The wraparound was immaculate from AP Bren. Immortality from Superman goes down. Super Marco outputting the damage. Super Ken wasn't dead. And we'll find him. But is it enough though? The Alice, he can't keep him alive for long enough. Super Ken ends up falling. It's Spew and Flapteasy against Dorizo and P. All the frontliners and support piled up together in this fight. Is an even trade. But AP Bren with heroic saved this game for themselves.
Yeah, AP Bren right here, literally that one button literally won, not say won them the game, won them back the map dominance, and now it's Bigetron Alpha on the back foot. This is exactly what I was talking about. When the late game comes, Super Marco pops off. You saw the damage that he was able to output there, all because of that flank, right? And now it's just Zorizo and Few going up against each other. The turret shot, ooh, with just one more, who should do the trick. But let's take a look at the instant replay, how it actually unfolds. If you notice, Kautisi coming in just in the nick of time, just to sacrifice himself, just to take out that Lord, right? And Super Ken getting shot all the way out. And if you notice how the members of AP Bren just focusing on the backline of Bigetron Alpha, immediately they're dead. Super Ken got caught out of position right there. He went on the other way. He was a little bit, I bet he was a little bit confused. That Lord should have been theirs, but Kautizi stole it away, and that took Bigetron Alpha off guard.
Yeah, silver lining was that they were able to get rid of Super Marco before Super Ken went down, because I think if Super Marco stayed alive, this game would have absolutely gone off the rails for Bigetron Alpha.
Yeah, they found second, so that's actually a very good thing. And AP Bren knows that is the main win condition now. Even though Bigetron Alpha loses that Lord, they're able to stabilize just a little bit because of their sheer amount of structures, right? AP Bren still needs to go through multiple defensive structures from Bigetron Alpha to finally hit the strike at that heart. If you take a look at the items, yeah, Oracle, a Bloodlust Axe, Dom Eyes, going into Blade Armor, I believe that's good item against Carry, which will kill himself because of the attack speed alone, and he's also healing out of that and reducing attack speed as well. So Rizzo is also pseudo tanky. There you go, Blade Armor. And then also, if you notice, from the side of Ken, also going for the Blade Armor as well, ignoring the immortality instead.
Yeah, I mean, you want to shred out Hellbar, we'll watch you destroy yourself when you hit it. You get the pull, this one could be massive. Super Win needs to get out. The damage of Super Marco not enough. The car also keeping him alive. Super Ken, watch out! As he gets eviscerated by Kautisi. And Bigetron Alpha overextending just a little bit. They cannot fight this. With Super Ken down for 40 seconds, AP Bren can start to set up at Lord.
Yeah, Super Ken cannot fight that at all, right? No pun intended right there. But you see how AP Bren is finally stabilized as well. The burst damage coming out from Few and Super Marco as well, just chunking down Super Ken. The Blade Armor, he thought that he's actually able to do and defend himself just a little bit more. But in the end of the day, he has HP bars, but he doesn't have the armor to deal with it, right? Now, Bigetron Alpha, because of losing Super Ken right there, it's only 13 seconds. Now, if you notice how Kautisi is positioning, that's a Divine Judgment.
And at the pool, that's the Immortality. Zorizo, if he goes down, he's gonna be big trouble. This is the Mirror's Passion right there. Sakin just shoots through Super Marco's health bar, and Zorizo survives. Kautisi, can you at least get a kill? No, he cannot. Sakin saves it for Bigetron Alpha, and a turnaround right there as Lord spawns and Super Ken comes back to life. Oh, AP Bren, what have you done?
Oh no, AP Brand had that one small window opportunity, got shut down by Zorizo. AP Brand was pouring all the resources into Zorizo, couldn't end his life right there, actually ended AP Brand instead. Now Bigetron Alpha is gonna focus on the Lord right now. AP Brand couldn't actually defend this, right? Like, they don't really have, okay, fine, Super Marco is going to come online just in time. Zorizo, to make things work, that's a Demon Wings going in. He's going to have even more Spellbam, even more sustain. I think AP Brand, it's all about target prioritization right now. Target the wrong person, you're dead. Sakin's gonna Nibiru Crash and shred you all across the board.
I mean, they all stuck together, right? Sakin is like, all right, is it you guys want to come together? Hello, taste some lead. Kautizi back just in time. Could be the final push of Bigetron Alpha. Look at that! Zorizo straight in! And Phew, he's dead! Super Marco gotta run. Survive just for a little bit. The Winked Trunk is keeping Super Ken alive. But AP Brand, can you stay bomb this assault? If Bigetron Alpha, they will focus everything on the crystal. And Bigetron Alpha have done it in their home ground. And in front, in the faces of AP Brand, they stopped them dead in their tracks.
Turns out, you know, Bigetron Alpha wasn't a speed bump, wasn't an obstacle for AP Brand. They were the conquerors. Bigetron